Welcome to Victory Vibes. Here, we bring you inspiring success stories that uplift and motivate. Today, we're diving into the incredible journeys of 5 remarkable individuals who faced challenges head-on and transformed them into powerful triumphs, proving that with determination, anything is possible. Let's get into it. First, meet David Murdock, a self-made billionaire whose story teaches us that starting over isn't the end, but a new beginning. Let's dive in.
Every legend starts somewhere. For David Murdock, it wasn't a penthouse or a boardroom. It was a gas pump in Ohio. A dyslexic kid born in 1923 who couldn't crack a textbook. School didn't stick, so he dropped out in 9th grade. Most people would have called it quits right there. But David, he was just getting started. This is the story of a man who turned nothing into an empire, and who's still chasing a dream so big it defies time itself. World War II pulled him into the army. When he came back, the world wasn't exactly rolling out the red carpet. No degree, no savings, just a guy with a knack for seeing what others missed. In the late 1940s, he scraped together $1,800, bought a failing diner, and flipped it for a profit. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a win, and that win planted a seed. Maybe he could build something bigger. David threw himself into real estate. He started small, subdivisions in Arizona, office buildings in California. Then he went big, resorts in Hawaii. No fancy education, no silver spoon, just a gut instinct and a refusal to stop. By the 1960s, he was a player in the game, turning dirt into dollars. But the real game changer came in 1985. That's when he took over Castle & Cooke, the parent company of Dole Food Company. Dole wasn't just a brand, it was a giant. Pineapples, bananas, salads, you name it, they shipped it worldwide. Under David's watch, it didn't just survive, it thrived. He wasn't some corporate suit with an MBA. He was a street-smart dropout who outworked everyone. By the 2000s, he turned Dole into a billion-dollar empire. But here's where the story takes a turn. David Murdock wasn't content with wealth, he wanted something more. In the 1980s, tragedy hit. His wife, Gabrielle, died of cancer. It broke him, but it also woke him up. He started asking questions. Why do we get sick? Why do we age? He dug into nutrition, ditched meat, dairy, and sugar, and built a diet around fruits, veggies, nuts. He became a walking experiment, convinced that what we eat could rewrite our fate. And then he set a goal that sounded insane. Live to 125. Most people would have laughed, but David didn't care. He put his money where his mouth was. Literally. In 2007, he founded the North Carolina Research Campus, a state-of-the-art hub for health and biotech. He poured hundreds of millions into it, hiring scientists to unlock the secrets of aging. At 92, when others were winding down, he was building a legacy to outlast him. And here's the kicker. As of 2025, he's 101 and still going strong. Think about that. 101 years old, and he's not just alive, he's thriving, hitting the gym, running his empire, eating his kale like it's a mission. Critics say his 125th goal is a pipe dream. Maybe it is. But even if he doesn't hit it, he's already proven something huge. You don't have to accept the hand you're dealt. David rewrote his story, not with luck, but with choices. Let's break this down. He started with nothing. No education, no safety net. He built a fortune through sheer will. He faced loss and turned it into purpose. And now, at an age when most stories end, he's writing a new chapter. That's not just inspiring, it's a challenge. What's stopping you? A bad start? A tough break? David Murdock says none of that matters. What matters is what you do next. His life yells one truth. You're tougher than you think. That dream you've buried, the one that feels too big, too far, dig it up. Start small, like he did with that diner. Take one step, then another. David didn't need a classroom to learn how to win. He learned by doing. And that 125th goal? It's not about the years. It's about the fight. The fight to live bigger, longer, better. So what's your 125? That one goal that keeps you up at night? If David Murdock's story lit a spark in you, hit that subscribe.
Next story, we meet Shahid Khan, a visionary who turned dreams into reality, showing that belief in oneself can break barriers and redefine industries. Let's go.
Imagine landing in a new country at 16 with just $500 in your pocket, sleeping in a $2 a night room, and washing dishes for $1.20 an hour. Now imagine turning that into a $13 billion empire, owning an NFL team, a soccer club, and a wrestling league, all while rocking the coolest mustache in business. This is the insane, inspiring story of Shahid Khan, and trust me, you're not going to want to miss how he pulled this off. In 1967, Shahid Khan, a kid from Lahore, Pakistan, steps off a plane in the US with big dreams and not much else. He's 16, he's got $500, and he's headed to the University of Illinois. First night, he crashes at a YMCA for $2 because that's all he can afford. The next day, he's scrubbing dishes for $1.20 an hour, thinking, man, this is more than 99% of people back home make this country's wild. Shahid wasn't here to mess around. He was here to build something massive. So Shahid's at college studying industrial engineering. He joins a fraternity, Beta Theta Pi, probably the only guy there with a Pakistani accent and a dream bigger than the Midwest skyline. While his buddies are partying, Shahid's working at Flex and Gate, an auto parts company. He's tinkering with car bumpers, figuring out how they're made. By 1971, he graduates, and guess what? They make him engineering director. Not bad for a guy who was washing dishes a few years earlier, right? But here's where it gets juicy. Shahid's got this light bulb moment. Why are truck bumpers so clunky and heavy? He designs a one-piece bumper lighter, stronger, no rust. It's genius. He quits his job, takes a $50,000 loan, and starts his own company, Bumper Works, in 1978. Now, Shahid's not just playing small ball. In 1980, he buys Flex and Gate from his old boss, merges it with Bumper Works, and starts cranking out bumpers for the big three: Ford, GM, Chrysler. But the real game changer? Toyota. By 1987, he's the sole supplier for their pickups. By 1989, he's got the whole Toyota line in the US locked down. How? He adopts the Toyota way, super efficient, lean production. We're talking going from $17 million in sales to $2 billion by 2010 and $8.9 billion by 2020. Flex and Gates now got 25,000 employees, 69 plants worldwide, China, Mexico, you name it. This guy went from a garage to global domination. Oh, and that mustache? It's basically the logo of hustle at this point. But Shahid's not done. He's got cash, he's got ambition, and he loves sports. In 2011, he dropped $760 million to buy the Jacksonville Jaguars' first ethnic minority owner in NFL history. Picture this: a Pakistani immigrant now owns an American football team. Wild, right? In 2013, he snags Fulham FC, a Premier League soccer club, for somewhere between 150 to 200 million pounds. London's calling, and Shahid answers. And just when you think he's peaked, he teams up with his son Tony in 2019 to launch All Elite Wrestling AEW, a legit rival to WWE. He even steps into the ring on TV in 2024 after Tony gets attacked. Billionaire dad energy activated. Shahid's not just building businesses, he's building legacies across continents and industries. So who is Shahid Khan beyond the billions? He's a family guy married to Ann Carlson since 1977. Met her in college, total sweetheart story. They've got 2 kids, Tony and Shauna, who are killing it too. Shahid Khan is also a philanthropist. He gives $10 million on his alma mater, supports Jacksonville charities, and keeps giving back. Net worth? $13.3 billion as of 2025. Forbes ranks him 55th richest in America, 167th in the world. From a $2 room to a penthouse in Chicago, he's proof you can start with nothing and end up with everything if you work for it. Shahid Khan's story isn't just about money, it's about guts, grit, and going all in. He turned $1.20 an hour into a $13 billion empire, not because he was lucky, but because he saw opportunity where others saw dirty dishes. So what's your $1.20 moment? Smash that like button if this fired you up, and subscribe for more stories of legends who beat the odds.
Continuing with Visionaries, Paul DeJoria's story is a testament to how passion and grit can turn humble beginnings into global success. Let's jump right in.
A kid from the streets of East LA tangled in a gang, sleeping in his car, with nothing but grit and a dream. That was John Paul DeJoria. But from those dark beginnings, he blasted off to build a billion-dollar empire: hair care, tequila, philanthropy that spans the globe. This isn't just a story of survival. It's a rocket ride to the stars, proving you can rewrite your destiny. You're about to uncover the electrifying life of John Paul DeJoria, a man who turned chaos into conquest. Born on April 13, 1944, in Echo Park, Los Angeles, his early years were anything but easy. By age 2, his parents divorced, and by 9, he was selling Christmas cards and newspapers on the streets to help his struggling mother. But as a teenager in the tough barrios of East LA, DeJoria took a darker turn. He joined a street gang, lured by the sense of belonging in a world that felt stacked against him. Life in the gang wasn't glamorous, it was survival. But a pivotal moment came when his high school math teacher at John Marshall High School confronted him. He said, "You'll never succeed unless you leave this life behind." That wake-up call sparked a shift. In 1962, after graduating, DeJoria enlisted in the U.S. Navy, serving 2 years on the USS Hornet, hoping to chart a new course. After his discharge, a failed marriage left him a single father, living out of his car, scraping by on odd jobs like pumping gas, repairing bikes, and selling encyclopedias door to door. By the early 1970s, he landed at Redken Laboratories, learning the hair care industry inside out. But even there, he faced rejection, fired over a business disagreement in 1975. Yet each setback fueled his fire. In 1980, at age 36, broke and still sleeping in his car, DeJoria met hairstylist Paul Mitchell. Together, with just $700 borrowed from his mother and $350 from Mitchell, they launched John Paul Mitchell Systems. They knocked on salon doors, demoing natural hair products in a chemical-heavy market. It was risky, audacious, and against all odds, it worked. Within 2 years, the company was turning a profit, and DeJoria's net worth? Around $1 million, a staggering leap from zero. But DeJoria wasn't done. In 1989, after Paul Mitchell's tragic death from cancer, he co-founded Patron Spirits with Martin Crowley, aiming to craft a smooth premium tequila. At $37 a bottle, it was a gamble, but it paid off spectacularly. By the late 1990s, Patron was a global sensation, and DeJoria's wealth soared. In 2000, Forbes estimated his net worth at around $800 million, split between his hair care empire, now grossing over $800 million annually, and his growing spirits business. Fast forward to 2017, DeJoria's net worth hit $3.1 billion, making him one of the richest sharks on Shark Tank, where he guest starred as an investor. That year, he sold 70% of Patron to Bacardi for $5.1 billion, boosting his fortune further. But money was never the endgame. DeJoria's motto, "Success unshared is failure," drove him to give back, supporting over 160 charities, from feeding 17,000 orphan children in Africa with Nelson Mandela to funding Sea Shepherd's anti-poaching ships named after him. So, what's the secret behind this galactic rise? 3 rules. First, resilience face rejection at door 59 with the same fire as Dr. One. Second, vision sell the reorder, building loyalty that lasts. Third, purpose use success as a platform to lift others. From gang life to global icon, DeJoria proves your past doesn't define your future. At 80, he's still pushing boundaries, investing in space tech and clean energy. John Paul DeJoria's story isn't just inspiring, it's a blueprint for anyone who's ever felt trapped. If he can escape the streets, build empires, and give back on a cosmic scale, what's stopping you? His journey reminds us that every rejection, every struggle, is a stepping stone to the stars.
From rebuilding his own path, we move to Ralph Lauren's, whose journey reminds us that success is rooted in hard work and resilience. Let's dive in.
From a kid selling ties in the Bronx to a name that screams luxury worldwide, this is the story of Ralph Lauren. A guy who didn't just climb the ladder, he built it from scratch. No fashion school, no rich parents, just a vision and a hustle that wouldn't quit. This is how a dreamer turns style into a billion-dollar empire. Let's dive in. Ralph Lauren was born Ralph Lifshitz in 1939 in the Bronx, New York, a working-class melting pot of immigrants. His parents fled Jewish persecution in Belarus, landing in a cramped apartment with 4 kids. Dad was a house painter, Mom kept the family tight, and Ralph? He was the youngest, dodging punches in a rough neighborhood. No silver spoon here, just hand-me-downs and big dreams. As a teen, he'd hit the streets selling ties he'd snag on the cheap, flipping them for pocket cash. He didn't know it yet, but that hustle was the seed of something massive. Ralph wasn't about the Bronx life forever. He loved movies. Jimmy Stewart, Cary Grant, guys with class, style, swagger. He'd eyeball their suits and think, I could do that better. After high school, he worked odd jobs. Stock boy at Brooks Brothers, glove salesman, saving up for city college night classes. But school wasn't his vibe. He dropped out at 20. In 1962, he joined the Army for 2 years, then landed at Rivets & Company, a tie company. That's where it clicked. Ralph saw ties weren't just accessories. They were statements. He pitched wide, bold designs. Think 4 inches, not the skinny 2-inch norm. His bosses laughed. Nobody wants that. Ralph said, watch me. In 1967, with $50,000 borrowed from a clothing manufacturer, Ralph struck out solo. He rented a desk in the Empire State Building and started Polo, a name he picked because it sounded rich, timeless, sporty. No sewing skills, no training, just sketches and a gut feeling. He'd lug samples to stores like Bloomingdale's, getting doors slammed in his face. But then Bloomie's bit, ordered his ties, and only his, for their menswear section. First year, $500,000 in sales. Ralph wasn't just selling ties, he was selling a lifestyle. By 1971, he had a polo shop in Beverly Hills and a women's line. The kid from the Bronx was dressing the elite. Polo took off like a rocket. Ralph doubled down. Suits, shirts, that iconic polo player logo. He didn't chase trends, he made them. The 70s saw him dressing Robert Redford in The Great Gatsby. Those suits? Pure Ralph. By the 80s, he was everywhere. Flagship stores in New York, London, Paris. He turned preppy into a global vibe. Think horse country meets city cool. At its peak in the 2000s, Ralph Lauren Corp. hit $6 billion a year, 700 stores, 20,000 employees. He didn't just join fashion, he redefined it. Ralph took the company public in '97, the first fashion brand to hit the NYSE. Net worth soared past $7 billion. But it wasn't smooth sailing. Critics called him a copycat. He's no designer, just a marketer. Competition like Tommy Hilfiger nipped at his heels. And in '87, he faced brain tumor surgery. Beat it, kept going. Through it all, he stayed family first. Wife Ricky, 3 kids, all in the biz. Stepped down as CEO in 2015, but still steers the vision. Today, at 85, he's a legend who turned ties into a dynasty. So what's Ralph Lauren's story really about? It's not the billions or the polo ponies. It's about a kid who saw past the tenements and bet on himself. No fancy degree, no insider hookup, just a knack for style and a refusal to hear no. He once said, I don't design clothes, I design dreams. And he did, for himself and millions who wear his name. From Bronx ties to billion-dollar style, Ralph proves you don't need a head start, just a head full of ideas and the guts to chase them.
And finally, Sara Blakely, the founder, who revolutionized an industry with innovation and unwavering confidence, inspiring millions to chase their own dreams. Let's get right into it.
Imagine a woman with just $5,000 in savings, no fashion experience, and a pair of scissors, turning a simple frustration into a billion-dollar empire that redefined confidence for women worldwide. Sara Blakely didn't just create Spanx, she rewrote the rules of success, shattered glass ceilings, and launched a movement from her living room. This isn't just a business story, it's a cosmic leap that proves your wildest dreams can reshape the universe. You're about to dive into the extraordinary life of Sara Blakely, the mastermind behind Spanx, who turned a moment of annoyance into a global phenomenon. Born on February 27, 1971, in Clearwater, Florida, Sara grew up in a creative household, her mom, Ellen, an artist, and her dad, John, a trial attorney. But her path wasn't smooth. After dreaming of law school, she bombed the LSAT twice, a failure that could have derailed her. Instead, it became her first lesson in resilience. In her 20s, Sara took a detour. She worked at Walt Disney World for 3 months, even auditioning to play Goofy, only to be told she was too short at 5 feet 6 inches. Undeterred, she pivoted to selling fax machines door-to-door for Donka, a job she held for 7 grueling years. It was during this time, in 1998, that a eureka moment struck. Frustrated by visible panty lines under white pants, Sara cut the feet off a pair of control-top pantyhose. That simple act sparked Spanx, a product that would revolutionize shapewear. With just $5,000 from her savings earned from those fax machine sales, Sara launched on Spanx in 2000. No fashion background, no business degree, no investors. She wrote her own patent, designed the packaging, and cold-called stores like Neiman Marcus. By late 2000, Oprah Winfrey named Spanx one of her favorite things, and sales exploded. In its first year, Spanx raked in $4 million. By year 2, that doubled to $10 million. Spanx wasn't just a product, it was a cultural shift. Sara positioned it alongside shoes, not hosiery, making it a must-have accessory. She bootstrapped the company, refusing outside funding to keep 100% ownership. By 2012, at age 41, Forbes crowned her the youngest self-made female billionaire, with Spanx valued at $1 billion and her personal net worth hitting that same mark. It was a mind-blowing milestone, proof that intuition and grit can outshine experience. But success brought new challenges. The 2020 pandemic hit Spanx hard, and competition from brands like Skims and Shapermint tested her dominance. In October 2021, she sold a majority stake to Blackstone for $1.2 billion, retaining a significant share and becoming executive chairwoman. Her net worth post-deal? A staggering $1.3 billion, according to Forbes. Today in 2025, with Spanx still generating over $400 million annually, her net worth is estimated at around $1.2 billion, a testament to her enduring legacy. Beyond business, Sara's impact is cosmic. She founded the Sara Blakely Foundation in 2006, empowering women through education and entrepreneurship. And in 2013, became the first self-made female billionaire to join the Giving Pledge, committing to donate half her wealth to charity. Her story isn't just about wealth, it's about failure as fuel, intuition as power, and kindness as currency. She once said, "Don't be intimidated by what you don't know. That can be your greatest strength." From fax machines to a fashion empire, Sara proves that every setback is a setup for a comeback. At 54, Sara Blakely isn't slowing down. She's a guest shark on Shark Tank, a minority owner of the Atlanta Hawks, and a mentor to women everywhere. Her journey from a failed law school aspirant to a billionaire innovator shows that the universe rewards bold dreams. If she can turn pantyhose into a legacy, what's stopping you from launching your own star? If this story ignited your ambition, hit that subscribe button and join us for more tales of triumph.
These stories remind us that no matter where you start, with courage, creativity, and perseverance, success is within reach. Let their journeys fuel your own ambition and inspire you to write your own story of triumph. Share your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe and stay in for more success stories. Peace out.